screen. Okay. Let's end the prayers. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagarjatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parjanasaitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So thanks for joining. So we'll continue our discussion on chapter 12. So today we'll continue from, I think, text we just discussed till chapter text 7, I think. Yeah. Today we'll continue from text 8. Okay. Yeah. So let's repeat the verses. Mayeva Mana Adhatsva Mayeva Mana Adhatsva Mai Buddhim Niveshaya Mai Buddhim Niveshaya Niveshasya Maya Eva Niveshasya Maya Eva Ata Urdhvam Na Samsayah Ata Urdhvam Na Samsayah Mayeva Manadhastva Mayi Buddhim Niveshaya Nivasyasyasi Madhyeva Ata Urdhvam Na Samsayah Mai upon me, eva certainly, Manah mind, Adhastva fix, Mai upon me, Buddhim intelligence, Niveshaya apply, Niveshasi you will live, Mai in me, eva certainly, Atha Urdhvam thereafter, na never samshaya doubt. Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus, you will live in me always without a doubt. So, this is the highest level. So, yeah. So, this section from text number 8 till text number 12, Krishna is going to explain about the progressive stages of bhakti, a progressive level of bhakti, where Krishna is going to see the best part and then goes down and down and down. If you remember, in chapter 2, Well, in the very beginning, Krishna explains about to Arjuna that, okay, first of all, you perform your activity. Then he says, okay, elevate yourself, then offer this activity to me. Then again, he goes higher, then higher, like from sakama karma, then niskama karma, then again the dhyana, and then bhakti. At the end, perform everything for me. Here he's giving the highest, topmost thing first, and then he continues going one level down, down and down. So Krishna gives us so many options to us, for everyone. However, he says that best of those is just fix your mind upon me. That's the best thing. So fixing the mind upon Krishna, there's a verse says, ena kena prakarena mana Krishna niveshita. So ena kena prakarena, whatever the way, by hook or by crook, whatever the things you can do with your mind, mana Krishna niveshita, try to engage your mind in Krishna, either by studying Krishna's name, either by hearing Krishna's name, either by glorifying Krishna, either by discussing Krishna, either by offering food, cooking for Krishna, offering to Krishna, and anything, whatever you want, whatever the way you can, just engage your mind onto me. That's Krishna says. So just fix your mind upon me. That's the first or highest level, right? Fixing mind on Krishna. And then he says, engage all your intelligence in me. Even you can engage all your intelligence, whatever you think about, planning, put Krishna in the middle, right? So this is two things Krishna recommends here. The highest, engage your mind and intelligence. What will happen? The result is, thus you will live in me always. So there is no doubt that you will live in me. It's basically, right, if you remember Krishna all the time, and Krishna is there with us. Even while sleeping, we can remember Krishna. As soon as we get up in the morning, and the first thing we can remember is Krishna. Right? That's how we can engage our mind and our intelligence into Krishna's remembrance. So remembrance of Krishna is very, very important. If you see the three things when we do in Navata Bhakti, it says Sravanam, the Kirtanam, and then Vishnu Smaranam. So Sravanam, Kirtanam is chanting Krishna's holy name. Sravanam is hearing, Sravan Karna, hearing about Krishna, and then chanting about Krishna. So these two, hearing and chanting, that actually comes to the third point, that is Vishnu Swaranam, to remember Krishna. So by engaging ourselves in this process of chanting and hearing and chanting and hearing and chanting more and more about him, what do we do? Actually, we remember Krishna. Right? That's how the sense is, to remember Krishna. So Prabhupada says in the purport, one who is engaged in Lord Krishna's devotional service lives in a direct relationship with Supreme Lord. So there is no doubt that his position is transcendental from the very beginning. So when we engage our mind and activities and our intelligence towards Krishna, basically by performing devotional service, the person actually, he elevates him to a transcendental position from the very beginning, right? And hence a devotee does not live on the material plane, he lives in Krishna. So even Prabhupada says in some other lectures, he says about uh, a devotee going to work, right? We are grahastha. So as a grahastha, we have to go to work, for taking care of our family, for taking care of our material needs. We have to work. So a devotee going to work, at the same time a non-devotee going to work, both are actually doing the same work, going to office, getting ready, and in the office doing the same, coding, whatever you want, whatever you can say, your managerial thing, activities remain the same. But one who is devotee, he is not in a material plane, he actually in with Krishna. He knows very well that whatever I'm doing is actually for the pleasure of Krishna, right? So that's the difference. But the non-devotee, he's thinking about, okay, if I work, I'll get promoted and I'll have more money, and then I'll go here and there and enjoy. He's thinking about his own sense pleasure. But the devotee at the same time, he says, okay, if I have more money, I'll donate more. right? I help the temple more, right? In the working is same, but the end result of both are different. Consciousness both is different, and hence Prabhupada says a devotee does not live on material plane; he lives in Krishna. So the holy name of the Lord and the Lord are non-different. So when we associate, how can we associate with the Lord? By chanting His holy name, right? And therefore, when the devotee chants Hare Krishna, Krishna and his internal potency are dancing on the tongue of a devotee. It's being described that when we chant the Mahamantra Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Lord Krishna actually is trying to dance on our tongue. And that happens, when we go to more and more and more and deeper, when we chant the holy name with more affection, with more love, and thinking that the name and Krishna are non-different. And when we invoke or when we chant the name, Krishna comes on our food, and then on the tongue. And then Prabhupada says more about, like, when we offer food to Krishna, Krishna directly accepts these eatables, and devotees become Krishnized by eating remnants, right? So it's karma free. And on the other hand, one who does not engage in such service cannot understand how this is so, although this is the process recommended in the Bhagavad Gita and in other literatures, right? So this is the highest, topmost thing, to engage our mind and intelligence on Krishna. Krishna says clearly, right? There is no doubt in that. Krishna is saying, yes, Maya eva. Maya means what? Upon me. Mana adhastva. Engage, fix it. Okay, so there's the highest level. And let's see what Krishna says next. If we cannot do that, what next? Text 9. Let's repeat. Atha
Atha
chittam
chittam
samadhatum.
samadhatum
Atha chittam samadhatum.
atha chittam samadhatum
Na
na
shaknosi
sapnoshi
mai
mai
thiram.
thiram
Na shaknosi mai sthiram.
na shaknoshi mai sthiram
Abhyasa
abhyasa
yogena
yogena
tato.
tato
Abhyasa yogena tato.
abhyasa yogena tato
Mam
mam
ichhaptum
ichhaptum
dhananjaya.
dhananjaya
Let's repeat. Mam ichhatum dhananjaya.
mam ichhaptum dhananjaya
Atha chittam samadhatum.
atah chittam samadhatum
Na shaknosi mai sthiram.
na shaknoshi mai sthiram
Abhyasa yogena tato.
abhyasa yogena tato
Mam ichhaptum dhananjaya.
mami ichhaptum dhananjaya.
Yes. Atha, if therefore chittam mind samadhatum to fix, na not shaknosi you are able, mai upon me sthiram steadily, abhyasa yogena by the practice of devotional service, tatah then mam me ichha desire, aptum to get dhananjaya, O winner of the wealth, Arjuna. Krishna is saying he's taking us another level down. What is saying? My dear Arjuna, O winner of the wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, develop a desire to attain me. So, Krishna says here that, if you cannot saknosh, if you are not able to fix your mind upon me without deviation, sthiram, that if you cannot steadily fix your mind upon me, then what to do? Then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga, right? There are principles of Bhakti Yoga. Follow those right? And then what happened? The result is that in this way develop a desire to attend me. So by practicing the devotional process or the principles of devotional process, what will happen? We will have a desire to attain Krishna, right? So if we cannot fix our mind and intelligence to Krishna, we can actually perform or follow the regulative principle. क्या हुआ? सब गिर जाएगा ना. Sorry. In that way, you will develop a desire to attend me. So that's just one level down of that. So Prabhupada says the purport that in this verse, two different processes of bhakti yoga are indicated. The first applies to one who has actually developed an attachment for Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by transcendental love. That's the first one, like by engaging our mind and intelligence on Krishna. And the other is one who has not developed attachment for Krishna or Supreme Person by transcendental love. For the second class, there are different prescribed rules and regulations one can follow to be ultimately elevated to the stage of attachment up to Krishna. So what are the processes? Prabhupada says about this process, four things to avoid and one thing to do. Like the four things, like no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, and no no illicit sex. And then one thing is chanting the holy name. So by following the process of bhakti yoga, what will happen is we can come to a point where we have a desire to attain Krishna, right? So bhakti yoga is a purification of our senses. When our senses are not completely purified, it's become difficult for us to fix our mind and intelligence on Krishna. So by following the principles given by our acharyas through the scriptures, what we can do is we can actually purify our senses, and when senses become purified, we can actually try to attain Krishna, right? So Prabhupada says, at the present moment in material existence, the senses are always impure, being engaged in sense gratification. As we are engaged in sense gratification, then our senses are not pure, these are impure because these are contaminated, and hence we need to purify our senses. So by following the processes, we can purify our senses. Okay. Prabhupada gives an example here actually. So let's read this one. So in this material existence, I may be engaged in some service to some master, but I don't really lovingly serve my master. I simply serve to get some money. And the master also is not in love. He takes service from me and pays me. So there is no question of love. But for spiritual life, one must be elevated to the pure stage of love. That stage of love can be achieved by practice, devotional service performed with the present senses. Right? It is clear. So it happens many times. If you ask the people, do you love your job? He might say, no, I don't love my job. It's 80% of cases they say, I don't love my job, but I'm doing it because I have home loans, I have a family to take care of, and everything and things, because I need money. So that's it. But the point is that is on material platform. But when it's come to spiritual platform, at one stage we need to evoke that love for Lord, right? And it becomes spontaneous performing of a devotional service towards Lord, like the gopas and the gopis in Vrindavan. They had a complete love for Krishna. They don't care about who even he is God or not. They are in love of Krishna so much that they surpass the awe and reverence stage, right? And Prabhupada says that, and it's true, that love of God is actually there in dormant stage in everyone's heart. So we already have we are discussing the other day, the identity. The identity is what? It's Swarupa. the swarup of a jiva, a living being, is actually to love Krishna. Like the swarup of sugar is to be, taste sweet. The identity of the salt is to taste salty. So in a similar way, the swarup of the living being is actually to love Krishna as a servant, in all the five rasas. So that's already there within our heart, but it's lying somewhere. And as we start performing the devotional service, it's get invoked and we achieve that position, right? So because we are in this material world, it is contaminated by metal association, and hence that heart needs to be purified. And purification happens by the process of regulative principles. So these are second stage. Krishna says to Arjuna that first stage, fix your mind and intelligence upon me. If you cannot do that, at one lower stage, what it is, try to try to purify your senses by performing the devotional service, and the result is you have a desire to attain me, right? Okay, let's see the next. We'll try to cover at least till 12th verse today. Text 10. Abhyase apya asmarthosi. Abhyase apya smarthosi.
Abhyase apyasamarthosi.
Mat karma
Mat karma
paramo
paramo
bhava.
bhava.
Mat karma paramo bhava.
Mat karma paramo bhava.
Madartham
Madartham
api
api
karmani
karmani
kurvan
kurvan
siddhim
siddhim
avapyasi.
vapyasyasi.
Abhyase api asmarthosi.
Abhyase apyasmarthosi.
Mat karma paramo bhava.
Mat karma paramo bhava.
Madartham api karmani
Madarthamapi karmani
kurvan siddhim avapyasi.
kurvansi siddhimavapyasyasi.
Abhyase, in practice, api, even if asamartha, unable, asi, you are, mat karma, my work, paramaha, dedicated to, bhava, become, madartham, for my sake, api, even, karmani, work, kurvan, performing, siddhim, perfection, avapshasi, you will achieve. So, if you cannot practice the regulations of bhakti yoga, then just try to work for me, because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. So Krishna is going again more down. If you cannot perform the regulative principles, right, like the sadhana bhakti, especially we do the sadhana bhakti, right? There are two kinds of bhakti, sadhana bhakti and raganuga bhakti. Sadhana bhakti is basically the one who has impure senses and purifying. So we generally perform sadhana bhakti, right? Sadhana bhakti, like as I said, this following the rules and regulations, right? So if you cannot practice sadhana bhakti or the relation of bhakti, then just try to perform your activities for my pleasure. Mat karma paramo bhava, right? So for my pleasure. And what the result? Result is that gradually you will come to the perfect stage. So basically, perfect stage means you'll actually go back to the previous verses gradually, right? So that's what Krishna is saying. So if you cannot fix your mind and intelligence onto me, then perform regulative principles of bhakti yoga. If you cannot practice those, then work for me, right? So it says, so basically, how can we work for Krishna, right? Like working for Krishna, maybe it can be like offering charity, to build a Krishna's temple, or to to help to distribute books, or printing the books, right? By doing such, even without remembering Krishna, we can still attain that perfection stage gradually and gradually, right? So what happens is, it might happen that due to some kind of maybe some restrictions, family restrictions or religious things, we might not be able to perform bhakti yoga for Krishna. But actually we can perform, we can engage in these activities, like giving charity to build Krishna's temple, right? Or engaging this in this way, that can be done as well. So Prabhupada says the purport, one who is not able even to practice the relative principles of bhakti yoga under the guidance of his spiritual master can still be drawn to this perfectional stage by working for the Supreme Lord. So working for a Supreme Lord, right? Directly for a Supreme Lord. Krishna says only on me. Even if here it says, mat karma paramo bhava. Right? So work for me. Dedicate your work to me. Right? And again another word comes, madartham, for me, for my sake work. So Prabhupada says here, how to do this work has already been explained in the 55th verse of 11th chapter. One should be sympathetic to the propagation of Krishna consciousness. So, like as I said earlier, giving donation for temples, for book distribution, for sangha. This way, actually, we somehow or other engage in Krishna consciousness, and that will help us to get the sukruti, Agyata Sukruti, and then it will elevate us towards next stage and next stage and next stage. Prabhupada says again one more thing here, that the only difference is that in the materialism, one works for sense gratification, and the same work, however, can be performed for satisfaction of Krishna, that is spiritual activity. I gave the example earlier, like two persons, a devotee going to office and a non-devotee going to office. The devotee who goes to office, he thinks about satisfaction of Krishna, and he engages himself in spiritual activities like hearing the Lord's name, chanting the Lord's name, discussing Krishna Katha, going to temple, dancing in kirtan, taking Krishna prasadam. And other round, non-devotee, he even goes to a job, get money, however he's thinking of his sense gratification. I propose here that if one has sufficient money, he can help in building an office or temple for propagating Krishna consciousness. Right? Ena kena prakadena mana Krishna niveshita. So somehow or other, try to engage in Krishna consciousness. There is one more nice verse comes in our in scriptures, where that's quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita as well. Smartabhya satatam Vishnu, vismartabhya na jato chid. So this is the rule or essence of scripture. Smartabhya satatam Vishnu. Krishna is the origin of Lord Krishna, and he should always be remembered and never forgotten at any time. Smartabhya satatam Vishnu. Remember Krishna all the time. Vismartabhya na jato chid. So, and he should not be bismart, he should not be forget. We should not forget Krishna at any point of time. Remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. So this is the thumb rule or essence of everything. Remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. Right. So this, if you cannot do that platform, remembering Krishna, engage in relative principles or sadhana bhakti. Even if we cannot do that, then actually we can engage in our activities toward Krishna. Right. Let's see what next Krishna says. Krishna brings more down to Arjuna. It's actually for us as well. Athaitad apya asaktoshi
Ashaktoshi
Athaitad apya saktoshi
Thaitat apyashaktoshi
kartum
Kartum
mad yogam
Yogam
ashritah
Ashitaha
kartum mad yogam ashritah
Kartum Matyogam Ashita
sarva
Sarva
karma
Karma
phala
Phala
tyagam
Tyagam
sarva karma phala tyagam
सर्वकर्म फल त्यागम
ततः
ततः
कुरु
कुरु
यतात्मवान्
यतात्मवान्
ततः कुरु यतात्मवान्
ततः कुरु यतात्मवान्
अथैतदप्यसक्तोषि
अथैतप्यसक्तोऽसि
कर्तुं मद्योगम् आश्रितः
कर्तुं मद्योगम् आश्रितः
सर्वकर्मफलं त्यागम्
सर्वं कर्मं फलत्यागं
ततः कुरु यदात्मवान्
ततः कुरु यतात्मवान्
अथ even though this api also ashakta unable ashi you are kartum to perform mat unto me yogam in devotional service ashitah taking refuge sarvakaram of all activities phala of the results tyagam renunciation tatah then kuru do yata atmavan self situated. If, however, you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try to act giving up all the results of your work and try to be self-situated. So there might be some kind of restrictions so that we cannot perform this stage. What Krishna is saying, if you cannot perform this, then try to give up the results of your work. Right? Offering the results. So it's not to be disturbed in failure and not to be very much happy in gaining anything. So that's how we can be equipoised, substituted, right? So Prabhupada says it may be that one is unable even to sympathize even with the activities of Krishna consciousness because of social, familial or religious consideration, or because of some other impediments. If one attaches himself directly to the activities of Krishna consciousness, there may be objections from family members or so many other difficulties. For one who has such a problem, it is advised that he sacrifice the accumulated results of his activities to some good cause. Such procedures are described in the Vedic rules. There are many descriptions of sacrifices and special functions for the full moon day, and there is special work in which the results of one's previous actions may be applied. Thus, one may gradually become elevated to the state of knowledge. In this way, basically, that's how Krishna is going more and more down. So, the point is, Prabhupada says here that is also recommended here because by the practice of giving up the fruits of one activities, one is sure to purify his mind gradually, and in that purified stage of mind, one become able to understand Krishna consciousness. Right. So that what is that basically Prabhupada says here? It is also found that when one who is not even interested in activities of Krishna consciousness gives charity to some hospital and some other social institutions, he gives up hard-earned results of his activity. So as we go more below to the ladder, it becomes a different way to go to up. But the point is, when we give up these things, actually we take ourselves to next steps gradually, and gradually we'll come to the highest top step where we will start loving Krishna or performing devotional service purely, right? So okay, I think yeah, we have time to cover this text 12 as well. So text 12 is the last verse of this section from 8 to 12, where Krishna speaks about the different stages of bhakti from highest to the going down and down. And then here actually there are 3-4 stages are given in this text 12. Let's try to continue this one. Shreyo
श्रेयो
hi
हि
jnanam
ज्ञानम्
abhyasaj.
अभ्यासात्
श्रेयो हि ज्ञानम् अभ्यासात्
श्रेयो हि ज्ञानाभ्यासात्
ज्ञानाद्
Jnana
Dhyanam
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 Vishishyate.
Vishishyate
Vishishyate
Dhyanat Dhyanam Vishishyate.
Jnanadhyam
Vishishyate
Vishishyate
Dhyanat
Dhyanam
Dhyana
Karma
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 Phala
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 Tyagas.
Tyagas
Tyaga
Dhyanat Karma Phala Tyagas.
Dhyanat
Dhyanat Karma
Karma
Phala
Phala
Tyagas
Tyaga
Tyagas
Tyaga
Shantir
Shantir
Shanti
Anantaram.
Anantaram
Anantaram
Tyaga Shantir Anantaram.
Tyaga
Shanti
Shantiranantaram
Anantaram
Shreyo hi Jnanam Abhyasaj.
Shreyo Jnanam
Shreyo Jnanam
Abhyasat
Rasa
Dhyana Dhyanam Vishishyate.
Jnana
Dhyanam Vishishyate
Dhyanat Karma Phala Tyagas.
Dhyanat
Dhyanat
Karma
Karma
Phala Tyaga
Tyagas
Tyaga Shantir Anantaram.
Tyaga
Tyaga
Shanti Anantaram
Shantiranantaram
Shreya, better, he certainly jnanam, knowledge, abhyasat, then practice, jnanat, then knowledge, dhyanam, meditation, vishishyate, is considered better, dhyanat, then meditation, karma phala tyaga, renunciation of the results of fruit action, tyagat, by such renunciation, santi, peace, anantaram, thereafter. If you cannot take this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. And for by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind. So, three stages are given. What is Krishna is saying? That if you cannot take this practice, as discussed earlier, if you cannot even offer your activities to Lord, then engage yourself in cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation. So jnana yoga, dhyana yoga is again better than jnana, and better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of actions, that is giving up karma phala tyagam. And for by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind. So these are the three different ways Krishna says. If you cannot do that, then cultivate jnana. However, better than jnana is to meditate, and better than this is to give up your fruits of action. So the result is one will attain peace. So abhyasa, abhyasa is practice, right? So abhyasa is practice. So if you cannot practice, then cultivate jnana. However, better than jnana is dhyana, and better than dhyana is karma phala tyaga. So that's Krishna gives different levels, right? So let's read this paragraph a bit, and then I will close it. In summary, to reach the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the highest goal, there are two processes. One process by gradual development, and other process is direct. So devotional service in Krishna consciousness is direct method that Krishna gives a very first thing, like engage your mind and intelligence on me, or second stage sadhana bhakti. That's a direct process. And other methods involve renunciation of fruits of actions, activities. Then one can come to a stage of knowledge, and then on the stage of meditation, and then to a stage of understanding the super soul, and then to a stage of Supreme Personality of Godhead. And one may take either the step-by-step process or direct path. It's when you decide, are we going to go from here? I like it's example, like if you are going to climb on 100 floors of a building, it's your choice to take steps one by one floor to 100 floor, or take lift to go to 100 floor. Its options are there. It's our own intelligence. Okay, today I think let me go step by step on the stairs. Yeah, it's your choice. However, lift is there. Any person who sees you walking onto step to 100 floor, he will say, why don't you take lift? Lift is there, you can go directly over there, right? So that process is also there. It's on to us what we accept. So the acharyas, they recommend us to take direct step, that is by performing devotional service to the Lord. However, if we wanted to take different steps, like, okay, I'll culminate knowledge first, and then dhyana, and then try to understanding super soul, and then Lord. Then it's our choice, but process is there. And hence, why these different steps are given? Because the direct process is not possible for everyone. Therefore, the indirect process is also good, because anyway, it's actually elevating us, taking us to the next step. Though these are slow, it might take lifetime, it might take many lifetime, but these are slow, but it's like taking us towards that, right? However, if we perform direct devotional service, it's the best thing. Okay, so I think we'll stop here. And anyone have any quick questions or thoughts, please let us know. We can discuss. Else we'll continue from text 13 next week. We'll try to do a quick recap of these 4 verses, and then we'll continue on the qualities that endear one to Lord Krishna. There are more 7 verses for this chapter. These are all qualities, so it will be very quick. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna. I think you all might have got information about this Saturday as of now.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes or no? Yes, sir.
Yes,